So we're going to move on to value scale number 3. If you notice, we're going to be using primary colors, and we're going to be doing a technique called stippling. If we were in the classroom, this is my all-time favorite thing that we do because we all tap our pencils and make this beautiful sound, and if it's done correctly, it's in unison. But today you're just going to have to listen to me tap. So for my primaries, I have red, yellow, and blue. Now I did switch it up and I grabbed a turquoise just so that I'm not using the same blue in all of mine. If you have that option, you're more than welcome to do that too. Now we're going to go out of rainbow order because if we're picking our lightest color, it's going to be yellow. Then depending your color is what's going to go next. If I had a dark blue, that would probably go last. But since I have a turquoise, that's going to be my medium tone. And then red is going to be my dark tone. So if you've changed your colors, you want to look at them and find your light, your medium, and your dark before we get started. Now, unlike the boxes above, I don't expect these to be filled in perfectly because stippling takes a lot of time. Stippling is the act of making dots. And you guys can probably hear it more than you can see it. So I'm going to actually make little circles so that you guys can see it. Just like our lines, the further apart they are, the lighter the color. The closer they are, the darker the color. There we go. So I'm going to start filling my boxes so that we get to the medium. That's even more of those dots. If you're hitting it and you have a little bit more of a small line than a dot, that's okay too. A lot of stippling artists use markers instead of colored pencils, but it still gives a really cool technique. So notice how so far you can already start to see that value grow, even though we are just adding in those dots. Now I'm going to go ahead and do these last two boxes. Remember, you want to have a lot of dots and close together to really see a difference in these values. This is the part where we would all be in unison. All right, so now I'm done with my light color. I can move on to my medium color, which is going to be my turquoise. I can start just by adding a few dots because you can already tell that turquoise is a lot darker. So it doesn't take a lot to make a difference with that color. I'll do a few more so you guys can see them. There we go. And then in my medium, I'm going to actually add some more, but nothing too crazy. Ooh, yeah, you can already see the difference. And then my second to last, I'm going to add a lot more. Again, it's okay if it's dashes and not dots, but I definitely should not see full lines. So really look at this value grow. And then our last one, our darkest of dark, that's where we're really going to have a lot of these dots. I know, listen to that beautiful sound. Oh, full vibrating. Okay, so now look at how with these dots, I can grow in value and in darkness. Now, the fun part, we're gonna go in with our reds. So we're gonna leave our medium. We're gonna start to add some of these reds into our second to last. And look at how on the screen, our color looks like it's starting to change. Because of that addition of red, it's changing the color in our value, and we're going to add that into this last one. Sometimes when you're color blending for your project, it's nice to use colors that are not related because it gives it a little bit more depth. As these colors overlap, I'm getting colors like green from the yellow and the blue, or purple from the turquoise and that red, or even orange, a little mix of everything with that primary. But look at now how we can go from light to dark and still enjoy all of those colors along the way. Now we're going to do the same thing in our sphere, but with dots. Again, I don't expect this whole thing to be saturated, but I do want to see that you can try to get those light, medium, and dark values. So I'm going to build it up just like I would in the first two. So having my light, adding in my shadow, then I'm going to add in my medium, leaving some of that yellow for my light tone. I know, beautiful sound, right? You've probably already muted me by now. Again, I'm going to add it for my shadow down here too, where that sphere meets the ground. Again, opposite of our beautiful light source. And then we're going to add in that last color, which is our red. We're going to leave a little bit of that reflective highlight so we won't go too crazy. I'm going to create that little shape there. And then we're going to blend out the red so it's not just a harsh line. And then build up our shadow. So you can already see that the dots are a little bit more subtle. It's not as saturated as our hatching or cross hatching. It also doesn't get as dark, and that's because we're leaving some of that white from our paper behind to actually showcase those dots. I'm going to add a little bit more blue to mellow this out. And that is how you use primary colors and the stippling technique to not only make your value scale, but to bring your sphere to life.